Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are on a quest to bake something that feels almost impossible. A bread so light and airy, it's literally been compared to a cloud. Yep, we are unlocking the secrets of Japanese milk bread, also known as shokupan.
Okay, let's just start with a feeling I think we all know a little too well. You follow the recipe perfectly. You spend hours of your life kneading and waiting only to pull this out of the oven. A dense, heavy loaf that could honestly double as a doorstop. I mean, we've all been there, right? It's the ultimate baking letdown. But what if you could guarantee the exact opposite every single time? Well, that is the promise of shokupan. See, where your typical homemade bread can be dense and maybe a little crumbly, shokupan is famously pillowy and cloud-like. And the real kicker? It stays unbelievably soft and fresh for days. Right, so what is this legendary loaf anyway? Let's peel back the crust and find out what makes shokupan so incredibly special. Shokupan, which literally just means eating bread, is also sometimes called Hokkaido milk bread. That's named after the Japanese island famous for its incredible dairy. And its defining feature, the thing that makes it famous, is a texture that's just, well, it's almost impossibly light and tender. It really is the complete package. You've got this incredible cotton-like softness, right? But it also has a structure that can handle a sandwich. And the flavor is this perfect, subtle, milky sweet thing. But honestly, the real game changer? It just doesn't go stale like other breads. You get to enjoy that fresh out of the oven texture for days. And the secret isn't some fancy, high-tech bakery equipment or an ingredient you can't find. Nope. It's all thanks to a surprisingly simple, really elegant technique from Asian baking that just completely transforms the dough. So how do they do it? How do bakers create that signature cloud-like texture that stays so soft for so long? Well, the answer is this total game changer of a starter. And believe it or not, it only takes a few minutes to whip up. It's called Tangzhong. And this simple little paste, this is the key. It's what unlocks all that incredible moisture and softness in the final loaf of bread. I mean, look how simple this is. You're just whisking a bit of flour with milk or water, heating it up until it looks kind of like pudding, and then you let it cool. That's it. It sounds almost too simple, right? But trust me, this one little step has massive impact on your final dough. So what's actually happening here? Well, by heating the flour in liquid, you're doing something called gelatinizing the starches. Think of it like you're supercharging the flour. You're unlocking its ability to absorb way more water than it normally could. So when you add this super hydrated paste into the rest of your dough, you end up with a bread that's unbelievably moist, soft, and stays that way for a long time. But okay, is Tangzhong the only way to get there? Actually, no. Some bakers swear you can get a similar cloud-like result with a totally different and maybe even simpler method. So let's break down the two main philosophies here. On one side, you've got the classic Tangzhong method for that iconic pillowy crumb. On the other, you have something called long cold fermentation. Instead of cooking a paste, you just let the dough rise really slowly in the fridge, like overnight. This slow cold proof lets the gluten and flavor develop naturally, and it gives you a really fine, soft texture without that extra cooking step. It's a fantastic, super hands-off option, especially if you're just starting out. Okay, so no matter which path you take, Tangzhong or cold fermentation, there are a few pro tips that will absolutely level up your loaf from good to unbelievable. First things first, your ingredients. Using a high-protein bread flour is going to give you that strong gluten structure you need for that classic bouncy shokupan show. And here's a cool little trick. Literally, use cold milk and water. Why? Because it keeps the dough from getting too warm while you're kneading. And that's one of the secrets to getting that super fine, perfect crumb. Then there's technique. You've got to know the window pane test. That's when you can stretch the dough so thin you can practically see through it without it tearing. That's how you know you've kneaded enough. And the poke test, a classic. You gently poke the dough, and if the little indent springs back slowly, you are golden. It's ready. And then the hardest part of all. Patience. You have to let that loaf cool down completely before you slice it. I know it's torture, but it's crucial for letting that delicate crumb set properly. Otherwise, it just gets gummy. But after all that work, after all that patience, this is what you get. A bread that is so incredibly versatile. I'm talking classic toast with butter, those amazing Japanese fruit sandos with whipped cream, the ultimate grilled cheese, and of course, it's the perfect base for savory things like an egg salad sandwich or even pizza toast. Yes, that's a thing, and it's amazing. So there you have it, You've got the science, you've got the techniques, you have the secrets to what is arguably the world's softest bread. The only real question left is, are you ready to stop baking bricks and start baking your very own clouds?